The topic of tire sizes when it comes to taking your bike, whatever it is, a road bike, adventure bike, gravel bike, is an incredibly subjective subject. And in this video, I'm going to give my opinion and take on what I think different tire sizes on different bikes can do when it comes to going off-road. Now keep in mind, this is obviously my opinion on what I think you can do with different tire sizes. Everybody is going to be a little bit different, and I just want to say that before I start because I know that someone is going to disagree with me, and that's okay, but I'm going to go ahead and make this video anyway. So first off, let's start with the typical road bike size tires, which I'm going to say is a range from about 23 to 28 millimeters wide. There are a lot of people who are going to say that you cannot go off-road with this tire size, but what they actually mean is that it will suck, it's going to be really uncomfortable, probably you will get a pinch flat because it's just small tires with not a lot of distance between the rim and the edge of the tire, so if you hit something hard enough, pinch flat. Now let me be someone, not at all the first to say, that I've done all kinds of off-road riding with a 23 millimeter wide tire. And yes, it sucks, but it's doable. And to tell you the truth, on my aluminum felt, I actually do ride a set of 28s for exactly that reason. When I'm road riding around on some rough roads and I see something that's relatively interesting, I just go for it. That being said, if your bike can fit up to a 28 millimeter tire and you're someone who is interested in going and checking out either a gravel road, a service road, or doing anything off of some sort of road ride, which is what these adventure bikes that are out these days are geared towards, then definitely try and fit that 28 millimeter tire and you'll thank yourself when you can lower the pressure a tiny bit more because you've got that extra 5 mils between the rim and the edge of the road so that you can be way more comfortable. Now the next size tire that are really similar to road is pretty much any hybrid tire, which I'm going to call from like 30C up to about 38C. These typically come on like any hybrid or a lot of the adventure gravel bikes that are coming out these days. The cool part about a hybrid tire is they're relatively strong, super cheap usually depending on what you get, and easy to get a hold of because everybody has hybrids with 700C wheels on it. Most will have a pretty mild tread on it to keep the road riding portions of your adventure rides feeling quick and comfortable. They'll have some sort of flat protection in it, which is great for most urban riders, which actually translates relatively well to rocky and gravelly type roads. They're not that expensive. A set of Pacella's was like $80 for my bike, and I think that's a fantastic way to go. So hybrid tires are basically what I run for my setup with my Apollo, which you have seen in the Studiac Supercross ride that we did. I was riding a set of 38 millimeter wide Panaracer Pacella's through some pretty soft gravel, some harsh roads without any real issues. I probably run around like 40 or 50 PSI and stay really comfortable and be able to roll along without much issue at all. And I mean, they're tan wall, so tan wall makes everything better. The next type of tire that I would somewhat suggest, but would almost replace if you're going to do gravel specific riding, is the cyclocross tire. Cross tires are usually around from 33 to 35 millimeters wide, depending on where you're at or what bike you bought, and they have some relatively aggressive tread on them, depending on what type you've got. But in my opinion, I would say that for gravel specific riding, which does include a lot of road riding in between, cross tires don't tend to love riding on asphalt for very long. And if you've got a really nice set of cross tires with, big lugs and they're like mud specific, then you'll find yourself wearing that out relatively quick. And that's not something you want to do if you're looking for traction in mud come cross season. So what I would suggest doing if you're going to use cross tires specifically is to go for a cheaper file type tread. What you give up for using a cyclocross tire is more rolling resistance on the road and faster wear on some nice tires if you decide to use a nice tire. So that's kind of why I suggest going for a bigger, slick, or low tread hybrid or gravel specific tire. And then there's gravel specific tires. You're looking at like 40C and up. They're pretty huge. You just about need the specific frame and fork to fit it in there. And I mean, if you're gonna be hitting some really intense trails, gravel, you know, just basically stuff that's gonna punish us mere mortals, then you're gonna wanna go for the biggest and best that you can get, which of course starts at the 40mm size. I mean, it's hard not to recommend something like this, but a lot of us don't exactly have gravel specific bikes yet. As always, when tires get bigger and bigger and treads get a tiny bit more aggressive, you do lose some rolling resistance on your road segments of your gravel rides. But if you're spending, you know, maybe more than 50% of your time on gravel or off-road, then hell yeah, go for the biggest tire that you can get. So in summary, I kind of just said a bunch of stuff that was really coming to my mind. I mean, I guess I haven't really said anything that wasn't very obvious anyway. Big tires on rough terrain is gonna feel that. So thanks a lot for hanging out with me during this video and listening to what I have to say about all the different tire sizes that you can use and what their limits are, even though I think I might have gotten away from that a little bit.